This is Reality with Partiality. And today in studio is our guest, Dr. Harold Zuniga. Doc, good evening or good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Percy.
Uh-huh. It's always a pleasure, hooking up with you because it's far in between. I off air I was thanking you once again for that many years ago, and it's been more than 10 years ago. More like 15.
15
When,
years, yeah.
yes, when my dad had some issues physically, and you came to the rescue. But 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 like when I look at you, you're not aging, so I feel a little when I it's hard for me to stand beside you. Anyway, Doc, please go ahead and get right into your presentation. Maybe you could begin by telling us about the environment in which you grew up.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
My name is Harold Zuniga. I was born in the beautiful village of Barranco in the Toledo district, Belize, um, on the 25th of April, 1963. So it's been a long time. You know, I am 63 years old, although there was a big argument recently with some of the guys that I worked with in the basketball team. They said that's impossible. You're not 63. You must have just you 40 and you try be 60. But it goes to say that I grew up in Barranco. I was born to a family where my father was a school teacher. My mother did a lot of community based work with women.
Yes.
And as the teacher's son, I ended up moving to Aguacate, where I spent most of my growing up years going to school in an Indian village, in a Quechua Indian village
Ah,
behind Punta Gorda. So
okay.
I speak Quechua and a little bit
Mhm.
of Maya and
Ah,
Garifuna, because
okay.
my father never spoke Garifuna to us unless if he was angry, because he spoke
Mhm.
fluent English, so
Yes, yes.
it helped me on my way growing up. And
Mhm.
as I grew older, I told him, I said at standard six, I told him I don't think I want to go to high school because our neighbor in Punta Gorda, because we had
Mhm.
moved to Punta Gorda,
Yes.
um, I moved to Punta Gorda at about age 10
Mhm.
after being in the Indian villages.
Okay.
Um, I had a neighbor who was a police officer, and
Mhm.
I used to tell my father, why should I go through high school and all that? And the police never went through that. And see, he has a job, he has a family, he's making money. So that was a sticking point with my father and I. So we used to argue about it, and then eventually he said, "Well, that's why you don't want to do good in school." I said, "Well, I went to Claver College in PG.
Okay. Okay.
I went to Claver College. That time it was still Claver College. It wasn't Toledo Community College.
Yes.
And I went to school up to about second form. And I
Okay.
and then right away I started going through some stuff with my father where I actually I think I rubbed him the wrong way and he told me, okay, you gotta go.
Oh boy.
So so I ended up living with some relatives for a period of time and I had quit high school
Okay.
and I ended up adventuring around Central America. I ended up
Mm.
leaving home at about the age
Okay.
16 and I ended up in El Salvador.
Wow. Okay.
I ended up in El Salvador and it was the time of the war in El Salvador.
Hmm. Hmm.
And I ended up going to Puerto Barrios first, where I met my eldest brother, Valentin. And my
Okay.
eldest brother told me, well, since you want to try to live outside of Belize and everything else, maybe you should follow these people that you were with and go to El Salvador.
Hmm.
So I ended up in El Salvador, saw the war, I got
Okay.
scared and I caught a bus back home, but I couldn't
Okay.
get back to Belize. So I
Mm.
stayed in Puerto Barrios for about a year with my brother.
Okay.
He taught me to fish. He taught me a lot of things, including some little mechanical stuff and how to take care of myself.
Yes.
And then eventually I ended up working, coming back home to Belize after about a year and a half, coming back
Okay.
home. And through the insistence of my sisters, because I'm the last of 8 children
Oh.
for John Zuniga and Stella Zuniga.
Mm.
Um,
Mm.
But before that, the marriage of my mother and father was the third marriage for my father. So it was
Okay.
that I had older brothers and sisters, and I had nephews, a lot of nephews older than myself.
Yes. Yes.
So they kind of took me in and kind of showed me around and everything else. And when I finally got back to school, got
Mm-hmm.
back to PG to go, and I was convinced to go to school. I spoke to the then Father Kramer, and
Okay.
Father Kramer told me, well, if you're so interested in coming back to school, then you might
Mm-hmm.
have to pay your own schooling.
Whoa.
So I told him, I said, okay, I will do that. And I had to end up getting a little side job. I had to end up doing a few things, even working for the church a little bit. Um, I cleaned out a garage for Father Kramer and Father Ring, and they said, okay, this will pay for 2 months tuition.
Mm.
So I said, okay, that time the tuition was like about $20 a month or something like that, and I paid
Okay.
that, and I said, well, I'm off to school now. But then there was more to do, and there were books to buy and everything else, and so I kind of hustled around, and then by that time I was about 17, and my
Ah.
brother was in charge of BDF volunteers in PG. So I
Okay.
asked him to if I could enroll, if I could go with them. I said, I'm sure that I can handle becoming a BDF. He
Yes.
said, well, I don't know, because this is not like when you're in the Indian villages. You have to learn to march, you have to learn to shoot and everything else. I said, well, something has to give.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
So I spent time with my brother, and he said, okay, we're on. I'm going to sign you up. You're just about to turn the 18. So
Uh-huh.
you're going to sign up. I'm going to sign you up and you become a soldier. So
Yeah.
I said, okay. So I started with BDF, and they would pay me a little stipend every month for going to parades and trainings and so on. And I used
Yes.
that to pay high school. And how I got money to spend in school was that I would work guard duty, and I would help a family, the family of
Uh-huh.
a lady who made tamales and stuff like that, to grind corn in the morning. So I say that's my
Okay.
workout in the morning. Every morning I went to grind corn and get my food.
Yes.
It was a survival thing until
Yes. Yes.
eventually
Yes.
I managed to reconnect with my father.
Okay.
I managed to reconnect with my father about 1 year shy of graduation from high school.
Okay.
And when I reconnected with him, he said, well, I hear that you're doing very good, and I hear that you're passing all your subjects, and that you're
Ah.
the person in school. I said,
Yes.
well,
Yes.
I know that I maybe back then I didn't value school, but I decided that I wanted to value school.
Very
And so
good.
he said
Very
to
good.
me, he said, you're going to do the best that you can with what you have, like I've always taught you. I said, okay, I'll do it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, but one of the funniest things is that the weekend when I was supposed to graduate from school, I went to see him like the Thursday before the Saturday graduation,
Uh-huh.
and I took my paper to him to say that I was going to graduate, and I took his invitation to him, and this man started bawling.
Really?
Yeah, he started bawling, big cow bawling. The man had. He said he can't believe it.
Wow.
He said,
Yes. 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 Yes.
he said, my son, you're going to graduate. I said, yeah, but for me it was
Yes.
something
Yes.
that was expected, but for him it was a big
Yes.
deal. So
Very good. Very good. Mm-hmm.
I told him I have another step to go, because back then I already saw I had seen people in Guatemala and Salvador, and I had met with people who were in the medical field who were male nurses.
Okay.
And that was my first stage that I ended up interviewing, even though Father Stokel had told me that I have a scholarship with
Mm-hmm.
SJC. I
Mm-hmm.
went and I interviewed for Belize City Hospital School of Nursing in Belize City.
Okay.
So I went up, I did the interview, I passed it, and I got into nursing school.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. So in at nursing school in Belize
Stick
City, I was
stick
told,
stick a pin right there, Doc.
okay,
At Belize Technical around that time, because you and I are 1963 born.
yes,
There was one young lady, Carolyn Trent Sandiford, doing
yes,
engineering.
uh-huh,
And there were two young men doing, they call it commercial. It was business.
yes.
Me and the boy that owned Brody's up the highway here. Name like his father, Junior.
Uh-huh.
When anyway owned Brody's?
Musa,
Uh, huh?
Musa,
Musa, yes. Billy Musa
Bilito,
Jr. Billy Jr.
Bilito,
Yeah. Billy
Bilito.
Jr. Yeah. Yeah. But go. No, because as you like you were indicating now, you know, there were stereotypes. In
Yeah.
other words, go
Uh-huh.
ahead, go ahead, go ahead,
So
go ahead. Mhm.
anyway, I got into school of nursing and I started going to school. I was the 39th person in the class. All the rest were females, only male.
Okay.
And I had a lot of jokes and I had a lot of pitfalls that I went through during my time at School of Nursing because
Mm.
because one of the things is that there was a stereotype back then that if you're a male and you're trying to become a nurse, something wrong with you.
Yes,
You know,
yes, yes,
the
yes,
sexual
yes.
connotations of it, were
Right.
very. So
Gotcha. Gotcha.
going to school, I um I ended up I ended up renting a little place on Map Street.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
and going to school, and because they paid me a stipend to go to school and they would take care of me,
Yes.
and
Yes.
I still kept on going to BDF volunteers meetings.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
So much so that when I was to move on from School of Nursing,
Mm-hmm.
BDF asked me, well, so from here you go into the BDF. I said no. From here I am going to continue working with nursing.
Okay.
So that's what I did, and I continued until I was working at the operating theater at Old Belize City Hospital. And
Mm. Eve
I,
Street around Eve
Eve
Street.
Street, yeah, Eve Street, Eve and Craig Street. Uh-huh.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
I can remember working at the operating room and then sometimes working with people like Dr. Hoy, Dr.
Mm.
Gamiro, and people like
Mm.
those. And then one of the most interesting parts of it was that I was told that I had to work maternity ward.
Oh lad.
So
Go ahead, go ahead.
I remember two different occasions I got these women who were in full labor picking up
Mm-hmm.
bedpan and stoning them at me because they say, "You don't want leave boy for the country see me, man. No man, I don't want no
Yes.
leave boy tend to me." So
Yes, 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 yes,
so
yes, yes.
they would throw a fit. And then
Mm-hmm.
later on when they found out that I could really help them, you
Yeah.
know, and
They
I
calm
did
down.
yeah, I delivered a number of babies during my time as a nurse.
Oh, okay.
And eventually, because according to Judge Price's sister, Catherine Price, who was the principal tutor, School of Nursing,
Uh-huh.
she said that I didn't have the aptitude or the attitude to be a good male nurse.
Bruh.
So, exactly. So she told me that it was better that if I had stayed out of School of Nursing and had gone another direction. So she said that she would allow me to go to the next level, which was to become a RN. So I was left with
Ah,
um, practical nurse, and I ended up doing a few sessions with practical nurse midwifery. So then Mrs. Johnson and the old principal nursing officer told me that it would be best for me to
uh-huh.
go to Punta Gorda. And I guess they didn't know that I was from PG.
Okay.
So
Uh-huh.
when they sent me down to PG, I remember my first. I got down to PG and I was familiarizing myself with the whole layout of PG Hospital. And
Yes, yes, yes.
the first thing I was told was by this old lady who had come for dressing, and she was supposed to get an injection the day. She looked at me,
Uh-huh.
so you're going to do the dressing, but who's going to give me an injection?
Um,
So
uh,
I looked at her. I am going to do it.
exactly.
That's my job, you know.
Yes. Yes.
So I gave her the shot and I did her dressing. And then afterwards, she commented to the lady that was there, if you have any injections to get, come to this guy because who want it to hope? He hand
Well,
light.
yeah, yes, 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 yes. No pain, no pain.
Yes, opiate. So yeah, so it was like that for a while, and I kept
Yeah,
on working and doing and stuff like that.
yeah.
Then I realized that you know what, maybe what the lady told me in the state in Belize City was true. So my sister Delva Williams Zuniga was living in
Mm-hmm.
New York, and she convinced me to come up to the States. She said, because look at this, they told you you can't go forward, so you better just
Mm-hmm.
stop. So
Mm, mm,
so I packed up
mm.
and I left for New York to be with my sister.
Okay,
I left
okay.
for New York to be with my sister. So I stayed in the Bronx with my sister. I applied for holiday and I got it, and I overstayed my holiday, bro.
Well, all right, all right.
Then I stayed there and I started going to Long Island University to learn paramedics and to learn about emergency room nursing. And it was easy because I
Ah,
was accepted like almost right away.
yes, yes,
Uh,
yes, yes.
I also learned a number of things in New York, including the things about like emergency services and this kind of stuff. So that when I
Yeah.
when I decided to leave New York, because what I was promised I wasn't getting from my sister,
Okay.
I decided right away. I said, you know what, I'm going to try to get back home the best way I could.
Uh-huh. Okay.
Um, I had found some little jobs at supermarket and stuff like that, and I had accumulated my little change.
Mm-hmm.
Abani Balisi. I came right back to Belize.
More or less what year was this now?
This was 1984, 85.
Okay.
Uh-huh. In
Mm-hmm.
in 1985, around the November of 1985, I
Mm-hmm.
I came across a group that was recruiting soldiers for the BDF in PG.
All right.
Uh-huh. And when I met them, one of them told me, he said, but you supposed to be in a BDF already. I said, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I am a volunteer soldier, but I don't know if I have to go through any special thing to go and become
Yes.
a regular force soldier.
Yes. Uh-huh.
So the guy told me, I don't think so, because I think you have a file up at BDF already, because you had done a course up there already. So I
Yes.
said,
Okay.
okay. So when can I go in? They say, I don't know. You have to talk to the commandant.
Mm.
That time, the
Mm.
commandant was an Englishman, Mr. Starmer Colonel
Uh,
Starmer.
uh-huh.
And so I had mentioned something to him when he had come down to PG, because I ended up working part time at the hospital still in PG because they said they were short-handed.
Yeah, okay.
So I ended up working and I ended up fishing in PG. wa- when I wasn't needed at the hospital, I was in the ocean, right? I go fishing.
Ligele, ligele.
Yeah. And when I wasn't needed there and I didn't want to go fishing, I would go across the border to visit my brother in Puerto Barrios.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
And then
yeah.
Aba hindi either going nati aseni. I go on Pal Tramil along with my brother
Uh-huh.
and catch fish and hang out with him over there for a couple weeks or something like that until I would hear that, yeah, they're looking for you again. So I'd go across and like that. So finally, um, when I came back from one of those trips, one of these guys from BDF told me, I have a message for you. You need to report to Price Barracks immediately.
Bruh.
Yeah, they say I needed to report to Price Barracks immediately. So when I got to my little house and I said,
Mm-hmm.
well, if I'm supposed to report to Price Barracks, I'm going to try to I don't know what I'm going to do with my dory. That's the first thing I thought about.
Yes, 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 yes.
That was my means of survival, you know.
Of course, of course.
I wanted to make sure my dory was safe. So I went and I found my father. He was still alive back then, and I told him, I said, you know, I'm going up to Belize. I'm going to join BDF, but I need a place to leave my dory.
Uh-huh.
So he told me, well, you can bring it and put it under the house, or you can leave it there, and I will tell somebody to move it and put it under the house. But you need
Okay.
to be working. So I
Okay.
said, well, okay. So by this time, Gadari had in a gay Bugatti. I had a girlfriend,
Uh-huh.
and, and she was with child, you know. So I
Okay.
really had to do something to help myself.
Yes, 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 yes,
So
yes.
I got going to BDF, and my first day up at BDF, because they flew me up on the Defender, which was a
Uh-huh.
fairly new aircraft at the time. And so I got a ride up, and they took me to camp, and hello, I get what in the sugar, you know, they peel off all my hair and dress me in these clothes, and they tell me, well, you have to come in as a recruit. I said, well, okay. But then
Uh-huh.
the first day that I was supposed to be a recruit, Corporal Peters put and Corporal Manzanero put me behind the machine gun, and he said, well, can you strip and assemble the machine gun? I said,
Bam.
sure. And I took it down and put it, you know, spread it out there and put it back together. And
Yes.
so, but you're supposed to be a recruit. How can you do this? I said, no, I was a member of 12 Platoon D Company in PG.
Yes, 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 yes,
So
yes,
they
yes.
said, well, we have to check it out. So right away, somebody went to headquarters and they said, yes, he's a transfer in from volunteer element.
Yes, yes,
So I
yes, yes.
went in and they said, well, you have to leave. You have to leave the recruiting barracks right away.
Ah.
I said, but why? You know, I was just getting into it. You know, I really enjoyed
Yes.
myself being there
Yeah.
because I knew that I was more experienced than the other guys. So I said, well, you know, that I'm more experienced than these guys. So I'm going to make a good grade here.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
no, they said you have to go and report to the headquarters company, and you're going to be a medic because that's
Ah.
what we wanted to recruit you for your nursing experience.
Eh, was this, did you get wind of whether it was the British from PG that hinted you, that steered you toward this medical, or you're
No,
not? Uh-huh.
no, it wasn't. It was somebody from BDF who actually saw me working. Actually,
Oh,
when I was going to School of Nursing, I had stayed around Wayne Joseph.
okay,
I had stayed
okay.
around Wayne Joseph
Mm-hmm.
and his wife, his family, and
Mm-hmm.
they had told me, look, if you stay with us, you know, maybe you can go right into BDF. But I said, no, 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 I'm going home. I'm going to, you know, do my thing in PG and then maybe come back eventually. So
Yeah.
when I joined up the regular force, as soon as joined up regular force, and I was not scared of anything, I wanted to go to on jungle patrols. I wanted to do this. I wanted to do all kinds of stuff.
Ah, ah.
But I was told right away, you know what? You are going to be with the medical group right here on the barracks.
All right.
And eventually, we're going to see how your aptitude is and how your attitude is towards the Belize Defense Force. and we want to make you the person in charge.
Ah, one time.
One time they made it known. The English guys who were in charge of BDF at the time, I remember
Uh-huh.
Colonel Starmer Smith told me, and Colonel Veach told me, he said, "You have a very good attitude, and I appreciate how you are, and I am going to make sure that you stay in this position." So
Yeah.
anyway,
Yeah.
I continued working, and I was
Yeah.
told eventually, um, like about 6 months after getting into BDF, I was
Uh-huh.
called in to the office and I was asked if I had done any courses. I said, "Yeah, I did a course with British Forces." And so they
Oh,
said, "Did you remember if you passed?" I said, "Well, I guess so, because I was one of the ones who they had kept in the gate." They said,
very
"Who
good.
went out of the gate or who they had sent through the gate didn't pass."
Hmm.
So I
Ah, all right, got you.
so I
Mm-hmm.
passed, and they said, "Well, this is one of the reasons why we're going to do something for you today." And so they told me, "So how's your marching?" I said, "Well, I've been locked up in the medical center attending to people, but I think I can march pretty good." So they said, "Well, you have to go and receive something this evening." I said, "You're going to give me money?"
Nígẹ̀lẹ̀,
No,
nígẹ̀lẹ̀.
no, I didn't have money to get. They said, "You're going to get your stripes this evening." So
Okay.
and so I marched on to the parade square, and they told me to wear my best uniform that day, and I wore my
Yeah.
best uniform, and they said, "Extend," and this was it, "Extend your left arm." So I extended my left arm, and um, the guy came with this piece of cloth, and he put it on me, and he
Yes.
said,
He
"Okay,
decorate you.
Lance Corporal,"
Bam.
quick as that.
Ah,
And then
yes.
immediately after that, I was told that I had to go to Panama
Okay.
to do training. You're going to
Uh-huh.
study to become a combat medic. I said,
Oh,
"Okay." So I went to Fort Sherman in Panama for about 3 months and came back to Belize.
uh-huh.
On my return from there, I met with a gentleman by the name of Chief Warrant Officer Knight from the States. And
Yes.
Chief Warrant Officer Knight told me, he said, "Okay, I have something to tell you. Maybe you won't like it, or maybe you will like it.
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
think that you should not be here in BDF because you're well developed."
Mature.
Yeah. Yeah. He said, I want to recommend that you go to the States, to the school that I attended." I said,
Okay.
"Well, okay." So that same afternoon, after this man had told me this thing, I was invited to go to the US military liaison office.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
I attended an
Mm-hmm.
interview.
Mm-hmm.
And he had made all the recommendations, and he gave me the paper, and he said, "We have set up for you to go to Fort Sam Houston." This was in 1989.
Ah.
It was in 1989. I went to Fort Sam
Ah.
Houston, and I trained in Fort Sam Houston to one, become a field medic, a combat medic there too, so
Mm-hmm.
that I could
Mm-hmm.
take care and teach the subject of combat medicine.
Yes.
And
Yes.
then I was also inducted into a group of people who were studying to trying out to become um, physical therapy specialists. That's what
Mm-hmm.
U.S. Army called them.
Mm-hmm.
And so I spent about 18 months in the States,
Ah.
in an
Train,
accelerated,
training,
yes,
training.
in an accelerated program from U.S. Army.
Got you. Got you.
So I came back to Belize. I was a corporal when I left. When I came back from there, I was a sergeant.
Instant.
Instant, instant. They don't play at all. And they told me that I had the aptitude to become an officer in the U.S. Army. So I said, well, I'd have to leave that up to my army back home. But
Mm-hmm.
I went through it, and my grades were very good. As a matter of fact, out of a class of 60, I made second place.
Wow. Wow.
And they started grooming me from out there to do sports medicine.
One time.
One time, right there at the Academy of Health Sciences at Fort
Yeah.
Sam Houston in San Antonio, Texas.
Yeah.
I met people there who were Belizeans, but in the U.S. Army. People like Leroy Neal and
Okay.
what's this other guys Gipo,
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
Gibson,
Yeah. Yeah.
and
People, he dead, you know.
yeah,
Eh,
uh-huh,
uh-huh.
yeah,
Uh-huh.
and there was
And
another guy who was
uh-huh.
Marshall,
Okay.
but he
Okay.
had, I don't know if he shortened his name to, but he was a specialist in the U.S. Army, Specialist
Yeah.
Marshall. And I remember
Okay.
Specialist Marshall would come and sit with me and try to convince me that I should
Uh-huh.
not go back to PDF, but stay out there.
Okay.
I said, no, I can't do that because that would be like, just turning my back on my people. So I say, let me
Ah.
go back to Belize
Ah.
first, and then depending on that, I would come back out to the States. The folks from the School of um, Medical Sciences in Fort Sam Houston had told me that they wanted me to do something called combat casualty care.
Mm.
I said, I don't think it's necessary because I don't have to, I won't have to deal with combat medicine. They said, no, but that will give you a better platform to work with.
Yes. Yes.
So people up there like Clifton and Cedillo and people like that who had been to Vietnam took me under their wing when I had a little time off, and they tried to
Yeah.
train me up and make sure that I was versed with whatever I wanted to teach when I got back.
Yes.
So I got back to Belize, and the first stage was for me to get equipment to work as a physical therapist.
Okay.
Because as much as I had
Okay.
sent back a list of things that I would have needed,
Uh-huh.
you know how it is with government and everything else, right? You
I
have to
know.
send, and they have
I
to
know.
make it part of the budget and everything else.
I know.
But so they said, I still remember this sergeant major in PDF. He said, "Yeah, I know you have all kind of qualification right now, but you're a soldier first."
Stick a pin. Stick a pin, doc. Stick a pin. No, because we live through the same culture.
Yeah,
You became the trailblazer in that lane.
in that lane, yes. Uh-huh.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, and he told me, he said, "Listen, you're a soldier first, so you have to wait until all the equipment comes, then." You would be able to maybe continue working at the medical center. So I said, but so what do I do in the meantime?
Uh-huh.
He
Uh-huh.
said, you just behave yourself and be a good soldier. Well, you.
I said, everybody, boy, everybody. Ay, boy.
Ay, ay, ay. So he said I had to behave myself and just be a
Yeah.
good soldier. So I said, okay, no problem. So during my
Uh-huh.
time there, I noticed because I used to go over to British forces to visit.
Uh-huh.
And like in the second year after I had finished training, a little bit of equipment came in for me for
Okay.
physiotherapy. But the British had a full physio clinic.
I got
They
you.
had a fully equipped physio clinic with traction and everything else.
Yes, but what you're indicating is that you had been fortunate to get some training from the British and then
Yes.
the Americans, and so you
Huh?
you you had you had both. You had both.
Yes.
Uh-huh. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
So my time was shared between BDF and the British.
Uh-huh.
So the
Uh-huh.
British would tell me, okay, you're going across, if you come across the British forces, let's make it like this. You are the person in charge of the medical center, which I was at the time. That
Okay.
time, Peter Craig, who was the force medical officer that came while I was still there, um, he he couldn't. well, I guess he couldn't understand what my connection was with the British.
He couldn't understand how you're large. He couldn't understand how you're large.
So the British
Uh,
would tell me,
uh,
you come and work for us at least 1 or 2 afternoons per week and attend to our soldiers,
mhm.
and we're willing to give supplies from our stores to the BDF. From our medical stores, we'll give to the BDF, and you will be the cause of that. And I said, fine, because I have to administrate that anyway. So good.
Got you, got you, got
So
you.
I did that over a period of time. And then there was a big accident in
Mm,
on the Western Road where 2 or 3 soldiers died at the same time, at the same day, in the same accident. And then a couple of them died later in Merida. And I was I was the person at the who went to the scene and saw these soldiers and um did all the dead body business and everything else. And so they at after that event, I decided that I needed to stay close to these soldiers to follow up on their injuries.
okay.
There was one particular guy who now drives for one of the judges at the Supreme Court, Kanul.
Uh-uh.
And I can
Okay.
remember Private Kanul had a head injury and he had a crushed pelvis,
Mm-hmm.
and I went and I argued with Dr. Witt. He said
Mm-hmm.
not to call him Dr. Witt. My name is Mr. Witt. So I said, okay, Mr. Witt, I am
Yes.
taking this soldier out of this hospital against medical advice. And he said, well, I am going to write the commandant. I'm going to call the commandant. I didn't know all these people were related, you see?
Yeah, yeah. That one
Yeah,
fraternity. Fraternity.
exactly. So when I took out this soldier, I arranged one time to have him transferred to Merida. And as soon as this soldier got to Merida, because I accompanied him to Merida that day, they did surgery outside of the operating room, outside of the emergency room. They cut
Wow.
a hole in his abdomen and took out
Yes,
all
yes.
the matter that was coming out of there. And they said if this man had stayed like 2 more days in Belize, he would be dead.
Dead, 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 dead,
So
dead.
when I came back, I had to face the music from Merida, from Belize Defense
Yes.
Force.
Charges. Yes,
So they,
charges.
so
Mm-hmm.
they told me,
Mm-hmm.
oh, you think that you too big for BDF? So you know what's going to
Ah.
happen to you? You're going on a charge. So I said, okay. I said, well, I've done what I had to do for the soldier, and
The man
even
alive. Yes. Yes.
uh,
The man alive. Yes.
he's still alive up to this day.
Got you. Got you.
I when I visited him in Guinea Grass a few years ago.
Uh-huh.
Gabaya Gwali Mutule, he has
Ah,
grandchildren.
bra.
You know, you know, he could have been
Yeah, yeah.
60 long ago. You
I
know,
got you.
yeah. So he he was one of the people that I looked at and I said, man, if it wasn't for me, look at this man. But at
You.
the same time, British forces said because they had charged me in BDF and they charged me for private use of military aircraft, even though it was a military person that I was moving to Merida and get him back. Um, they said that I had to pay so much money and that I would be demoted and things like that. And I said, okay. But
Mm-hmm.
at the same time, I noticed that there were changes in BDF because of the Belizeanization of the BDF. All the British were leaving, and then it became more difficult. It became to where if you didn't have an ally up there in the ranks, you could forget about it.
No, no, let me from the outside looking in, remember now, we're running parallel.
Uh-huh.
Same age or so. I was at the US Embassy
Uh-huh.
in 88 to 90, Voice of America, Punta Gorda, Orange Point.
Yes,
But
yes, I remember that
from the
place.
yeah, but so from the time we got independence, the US Embassy brought in the defense attaché. MLO, like you call them,
Yeah.
and then DEA, drugs and so on. But one thing stick out to me. This one thing stick out to me. Culturally, well, two things. Culturally in Belize, whenever there was a medical emergency, they carry a BDF camp. That they
Yes.
carry.
Yes.
Whenever
Uh-huh.
there was a medical emergency, like accident, this, that, bam,
Uh-huh.
because all the British could save them. And all
Yes.
this time, you were the man that was right there, commandeering the operation.
Exactly.
The other thing, the other thing is, the other thing is that you were hinting at it. The British departing after the statute of limitation ran out for the
Yes.
Guatemalans to have filed their claim because the ICJ opened 44, same
Mm-hmm.
year with the UN,
Yeah.
and so 50 years would have been around 94 when Esquivel was there, 93 to 98,
Yeah.
and so the British, like you said, indeed started to phase out and pack up to eventually fully then take their traps and leave. But
Yeah.
carry on right from there because this is an important point of history for people to realize. Because September here will make us 45 years of independence.
Independence. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Go ahead. Go ahead with
And
where you left off.
and what happened was that eventually, um, I had to write into the Ministry of Defense and to the Ministry of Public
Ah.
Service so that
You have
I
to
could,
defend yourself.
yeah, so that they could try to expunge this charge because I had this charge that said that I was insubordinate and I had
Yes.
overused my abilities and everything else. To
Mm.
I said all I was doing was helping a soldier,
Save his
you know,
life.
to save his life.
Yes.
And when I went to this lady McNabb in Belmopan, she had said right away, I believe in you and I know what you are doing. And so these charges cannot stick on you.
Yeah. Yeah.
So um, the Ministry of Defense, because I had gone to Mr. Not Bill Tillett, Mr. Bevans at the time, he asked me
Yes.
what I wanted to do. I said, I'm going to get out of the BDF. I'm going to get out and I'm going to do something different.
Uh-huh.
Mhm.
Uh-huh.
I was ready, willing, and able to go anywhere and to do something just differently.
Ligele.
Uh-huh.
Ligetele.
and so and so I found myself going to drop back some books that I had gotten from the British. I was dropping them back, and Colonel Berkman, she was the colonel in charge of the hospital, and she said, I have gotten wind that you're leaving the BDF, and where are you going, and what are you going to do? What are your
Yeah.
plans? I said, well, I'm either going to the States or I'm going to Canada or somewhere where I can work.
Mm-hmm.
She said,
Mm-hmm.
I don't think there will be any use for that, but I want to have an interview with you tomorrow with myself and Captain Anglian. I said, okay, no problem. And so I made myself available the next day, 3 o'clock. I go into the interview and they said, well, since you insist on leaving the BDF and you're not going to be around anymore, so we would like you to come aboard with us.
Ah.
And you will be with us with the transitional group. I said, okay, what's the transitional group? They said, in 2 years' time, we'll have something called BATSUB, British Army
Yeah.
Training Support Unit of Belize.
Yeah.
And so you will go and do training. We'll set it up so that you do training in England, and you're going to come back and help us do the drawdown of the British forces.
Yes. Yes. Phase out.
Yeah, yeah, phase out of the hospital British forces.
Got
So
you.
so
Got you.
I found myself, just stunned because I was dropping some books back, and then here I
Mm-hmm.
was now
Mm-hmm.
with a big cherry on my plate. This is what you're going to do.
Gotcha, bro. Gotcha,
And
yeah.
so and
Mm-hmm.
so this is where I was at, and that's where I was for the next 3 to 4 years, because I went to Catterick Barracks in England and in London, Queen Elizabeth's Hospital, and
Uh-huh.
they did a conversion training for me for to a convert from what they call a Yankee physio to a British physiotherapist.
Okay.
And
Yankee meaning American.
American,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. They said
Mm-hmm.
you won't use any American concepts, you're going to do British concepts. Okay, good, no
Gotcha.
problem. And
Mm-hmm.
so immediately after I was flown back to Belize, and I took my seat as the person in charge of the physio department. And I can remember the captain coming and telling me, well, we noticed that you also have nursing qualification and that you were working while you were in England at Queen Elizabeth's Hospital as a nurse. So we'd like
Mm-hmm.
you as an SEN, state enrolled nurse. So what we'd like you to do is just take up the same mantle here. So you'll be one of our nurses. So we don't have to get another nurse to come from England. You're going to be one of our nurses. And at the same time, you're going to do physiotherapy for us. And the pay was pretty good because they started me off at £700 a month. Back
Yes.
then the pound was almost $4 to one. So
Yeah, yes, but I want our audience to understand
yeah,
that
yeah, it
that
was
physiotherapy, you're you okay, that is one. And then a nurse deals with medication and so on and
yes,
putting needles and so on.
yeah,
Okay, but that is my layman, man. I wanted you to differentiate. Amuga yebate.
So so I worked on the wards as a nurse, giving injections and
Mhm,
attending to the sick, taking temperatures and blood pressure and that kind of
mhm,
stuff.
mhm.
And then in the mornings when I would come off duty, I would work physiotherapy, doing, moving, giving people movement exercises, doing electrotherapy, doing ultrasound therapy,
Yes, I. Yes,
doing
I.
shock therapy and that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
And it
mm-hmm.
it pretty much came to where I was always busy with British forces.
Ah, and the
Uh-huh.
pay was good. And the pay was good.
The pay was very good because, and then they also had a clause in my contract that if I worked for a week of nights, I had a week off.
Wow. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
Which was even better.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Anyway, as soon as afterwards the British drew down, and while I was on one of, and I have always maintained this thing that after I had finished physical therapy school in the States, I maintained something like this, that every year I would do a refresher course with some
Okay.
group or the other. And up to this day I still do it.
I like hear that. I like hear
Uh-huh.
that. I like.
So on one of my
Mhm.
trips I went to visit San Francisco, and I
Okay.
got to meet Dr. Huang, Huang, a Chinese guy, at his clinic
Uh-huh.
in San Francisco on Grand Avenue.
Okay.
And I can remember Dr. Huang asking me, why are you looking through my window? I said, I watch you stick some needles into that guy's neck, and then I was saying, well, the man was dead now for true.
Bro.
only
Yes,
to know,
yes, yes, yes.
only to know later on that this man was suffering some effects of a stroke or something like that, and that doing this and then later on doing certain types of massage, which I learned later on was a Chinese thing called twina, um, helped the man to fully recover from a stroke.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But the science is called
Chinese medicine is acupuncture.
acupuncture. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Acupuncture.
Go ahead.
So he asked me if I wanted to learn. I said, that looks very hard. It looks complicated. He said,
Uh-huh.
no, you get the basic concepts. You learn the concept of meridian points and you learn the concept of healing points in acupuncture. And
All
I said,
right.
okay, so what do I need to do? He said, it's simple as this. I'm going to teach you organ points and meridian points acupuncture, but it will take about a month or two.
Okay.
Well, I was on holiday and I said, well, if I don't learn now, then I can always come back and do some more classes.
Uh-huh.
And he said,
That Doctor, where you are this now?
this was 1996, 97.
All right. All right.
British forces had, just about taken off totally. And
Gotcha.
I
Gotcha.
was kind of like on my own doing stuff and, working.
Yeah. Yes.
Because
Yes.
in 1997, 1996 to 97, I had also gotten a little scholarship at University of Western Ontario in Canada to do alternative medicine.
That way, describe, explain that,
Okay.
man.
Let me explain alternative medicine. Alternative
Uh-huh.
medicine has to do with massage, it has to do with energy work, like using a person's aura to heal them. And
All right. All
also,
right.
you would do things like different baths and different
Yes.
herbs and different remedies to help a person recover fully from any kind of illness that they would have.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And it was wonderful. It was beautiful doing that. Because apart from that, there's another part of alternative medicine that I really always laugh about is using crystals or stones to heal an injury or to heal somebody. And I said, no, this is like out there. I don't want to learn that. But they said you need to go to the classes. You just simply need to
Yes.
do the classes so that you can learn.
Yes.
So
Yes.
that's what I did, and I got a degree from University of Western Ontario. Um,
After after you done the acupuncture, after you done the
yeah,
acupuncture training,
uh-huh,
go ahead. Go ahead. Uh-huh.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And since from that time until now, I have been doing acupuncture, and then my knowledge has progressed to where I have a sort of established a school where I teach massage. I teach Swedish massage. I teach deep tissue massage to women and men throughout the country of Belize.
No, no. The ones practicing at some of the hotels, some of your students, I do.
Some of my students, yeah. Uh-huh.
Got you, got you, got you.
Yeah.
Go ahead, go ahead.
As
Go
a
ahead.
matter, as a matter of fact, a relative of mine was in Belize lately, and she said, "I got a massage from a young lady who said that you trained her." And I said,
Yeah,
"Really?"
yeah.
I say, "Eliad, Eliad, tell her I say Eliad."
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but
Mm-hmm.
that's I guess that's what keeps me young because I keep going, I keep trying, I keep doing, and I try to at the same time live as healthy a life as possible.
But what I'm finding is that you always immerse totally,
Yeah.
enjoying whatever it is you are doing.
Yes.
But this I want you to as we bring this session to an end because you had committed that you could come back, you could come back and we
Yes,
could
I will come back.
do a series.
Definitely. Hmm.
I want you to because you love fishing, but
Yeah.
that's not but that's not a career. That is your extracurricular. Uh-huh.
Extracurricular.
You yes. Um yes, you did have, you know, the BDF. You have
Yeah.
your yeah, you have that under your belt and so on. Soldering. But
Yes.
your passion is what?
My passion is working with people and taking care of people.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
yeah. That which you are doing now.
Yeah,
Continue to
that's
do.
yeah. For me, somebody told me to say, "You're working." I said,
Uh-huh.
"Really? I don't think about it as work." Like even recently I went to the games in Dominican Republic, Santo Domingo, um,
Mm-hmm.
Central American and Caribbean games, and I
Mm-hmm.
was specifically went with basketball, but I am willing to
Yes.
help most athletes with some sports medicine aspect of what it takes to get them healthy or keep them healthy. So,
This is a
so
this is a good area to you know to drive in a conclusive way, because there wasn't until you came along a sports doctor
there wasn't,
in Belize. In
yeah,
Belize.
true.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Go
And,
ahead. Go ahead. Mm-hmm.
and what I noticed over there is that yes, they do have, because like Mexico took three sports psychologists, four MDs. They had they had like two sports doctors. They had two chiropractors, and still
Mm-hmm.
we still beat Mexico.
Albert, Albert, hey, it was sir. Look at that. Look at that. Yeah, 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 yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Uh-huh.
You, you play all the roles, right?
Yeah. For
Yeah.
example, here I was watching Mexico warm up for the event against us to play against us, and
Uh-huh.
I saw them using rubber tubing to do stretching,
Yeah.
and one of our coaches looked at me and they said, "And Balea must say hard for beat because they're strong." I say, "No." I said they will be easier to beat because let me explain something to you. This is a concept in sports medicine that I'd like people to understand. I want people to understand that if you're going to do strengthening before a game, you
Mm-hmm.
weaken the muscle,
Mm-hmm.
you know,
Mm-hmm.
because the muscle
Mm-hmm.
is tired. You end up with muscle fatigue. So
Yes.
after about 15 minutes of running, you knock out, you see?
Yes.
And
Yes.
this
Yes.
is
Yes.
this is what I saw on Mexico. I told the guys, you have to keep on just applying pressure. Keep applying pressure and something good is going to come of this.
Got you.
Uh-huh.
Got you.
And so there are many concepts, and some of the concepts that I've seen, and I have visited all over the place doing what I do. Like for example, I know that I was invited by FIFA International. I got the invitation at in Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Kari here, Yanima Aloha, but it
Mm-hmm.
was
Mm-hmm.
um, it was Querétaro, Mexico. I was
Okay.
invited to go to a conference in Barcelona
Mm-hmm.
at the famous Camp Nou. At the time when I went there in 2017, I saw the likes of Messi and Neymar and
Yes.
Suarez
Them
and
big
just
name.
big
Mm-hmm.
names.
Mm-hmm.
And I also have been outside along with Belize soccer team because I still like watching football.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Belize, for some reason or the other, hasn't set itself on a targeted path towards greatness when it comes to soccer or football.
Eh, mm.
One of the reasons being that they need to employ they need to employ sports sciences people instead of employing more people to do with the books.
Explain the difference.
I think
Explain the difference.
what I've noticed is that these guys start worrying about how much they're going to spend on this, how much they're going to spend on that. Most of the time, from football, I used to be like scaled back or say, well, you can only come when it's time to play. You can't
Yeah.
come while we're developing this process to start playing.
Yes. 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 Yes.
They need to have sports psychologists and sports nutrition people and sports doctors employed with the Football Association of Belize so that they can help it to develop, to flower into something good.
The investment need to be there.
The
No,
investors
Doc.
have to pay, and I'm sure they can do it. Put it
Yes,
into
but
their budget that they supply to FIFA.
they say still we need a school at home. We
Yes.
need a school at home. So that's
As,
the way you come in, man. That's the way
that's
you come
the
in.
day, the day I come in, School of Sports Sciences. Yes.
Ah, ah,
Uh-huh.
ah.
Because we're starting to have all the branches of sports medicine together. One of them
Mhm.
that is lacking though, that I
Mm.
think will be the next feather in my cap is to study podiatry.
What can I tell you? What is that?
That's the sciences having to do with illnesses affecting the feet,
Oh, oh,
like people with bunions, people with
yeah.
drop foot, people with
Uh,
ingrown toenails,
yes. Okay.
people with just bad bad walking and everything else. You
Mm-hmm.
examine from the knee to the
Mm-hmm.
ankle, and you get to find out what's going on and find a way to fix it.
Mm-hmm. Well, Doc, we are need a closing remarks, and then we'll do another. This is the first in the series.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
I
But
I
yeah, go
appreciate
ahead, Doc. Go ahead. Yeah.
I appreciate you having me on for this. I know sometimes I'm elusive because I'm all over the place doing all kinds
No,
of stuff.
no. Let me say this. Let me say no,
Huh?
no. I like it. Actually, I hope I am speaking for the audience. But you're not alone. Your mind is focused. But
Yes,
but you are able to multitask. All these
yes,
balls juggling at the same time. Go ahead.
yeah,
Go ahead. Mhm.
yeah. I, however, but I'm grateful to you to give me this platform to speak to our people,
Mhm.
and to realize too at the same time of how far I've come. and
Yes.
I and I thank you
Yes.
very much, and I look forward to another session.
Thank you, Doc.
You're
Thank you.
welcome.
And I have to say, with that history, we have to hook up with some refreshments, perhaps, whatever your refreshment is. But it's hard to get you because you're very busy,
Me,
and
me
then
siya bata
yes.
refreshment no kay mahalishi uwago sino.
Kate,
Kahela
Dino sa.
kahela juice daw po na bon.
Oh my God. No, maybe. Yeah. Yeah, that
Yeah,
we will get together at some point. I will make sure I call you and we will get together. But thank you for this first round, and we
definitely.
promise our audience that we will be back because it is so needed. It is so needed for wellness holistically, and
Yes.
you are the perfect person because you are versatile.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you.
thank you, Doc, and thank
Thank
you
you.
for your I mean you can talk kind of training, but them boys that be there, them boy. I like you had a good attitude about it, right?
Yes.
But these
Yes.
guys in the BDM. But
Uh-huh.
thank you for all the stories as well.
All
And
right.
Sarame,
Jeremy.
uh-huh.
Okay. Okay.
Are you? Uh-huh.